So yesterday we have seen radio buttons. Today we'll go for the check boxes. So you have to understand in all these five selection controls what we have given. Generally, we'll be checking with the description part, advantage, disadvantages, the choice descriptions, the structure, captions, keyboard equivalents, and selection method and indication. So same thing, but with respect to that particular control button, right? So now starting with the check boxes, everybody knows that there will be a small square box will be there, and each square box will have its own choice, and it will be of two part control. One is the checkbox, one is the square box, and one is the choice description. So both together, when it will be there, then we'll say that it's a checkbox. A checkbox without a choice description is not useful. Only a choice description without a square box is partial. So when both the things will be there, square box and a choice description, then we can say that it's a checkbox, right? So it's a two-part control. Each option acts as a switch which can be either on or off. Yes, because we'll be selecting, then it will become a cross or it will become a tick, right? So if we are not selecting, it will get deselect, so it is off. So either it will be on or it will be off, right? So when the option is selected, which is nothing but on, a mark such as X or a checks will appear. If it is unselected, it will be empty, right? So that means it is an off state. So each checkbox can be switched on or switched off independently and used alone or group in a set. So we can use it alone also, or we can group it in a set also. So sometimes it can be a single checkbox also. They're not necessary that always should be in the group, but that is not the case with the radio buttons. At least for radio buttons, minimum 2 radio buttons should be there, because it will, when we are selecting one, automatically the other one will get deselected, right? So either of way, whichever we are selecting, the other one will get deselected, right? So in radio buttons, that is the case where at least group of 2 should be there. But in checkbox, we can have a single checkbox, right? So what is the purpose? To set one or more options as either on or off. What is the advantages? Same as radio buttons, easy to access, easy to compare the choices preferred by the users. Easy to access because all the all the options are available in front of the user. He can see, he can compare the choices and he can select it. So it is easy to access because it is available in front of him. It is easy to compare also because he can see all and compare and select, and preferred by the user because it is like he himself is selecting it, right? It is not automatically getting selected. So preferred by users. So all these are the advantages. Disadvantages, definitely it consumes a screen space, because whatever number of choices are there, all the choices we need to put it on the screen, right? So it's consume a screen space. And again, there will be limited number of choices. We cannot give all the choices of 100 and all, right? In that case, if it is so many choices are there, then we have to better go for some other option. Then select single checkbox, difficult to align with other screen controls. Then these are the disadvantages. Proper uses for setting attributes, properties or values, same as radio buttons. For non-exclusive choices, that is more than one, can be selected. So in yesterday's, in radio buttons, it is mutual exclusive choice. Right? Mutual exclusive choice means where only one can be selected at a time. If you are selecting anyone, automatically the previous one will get deselected. So it is mutual understanding or mutually set in the radio buttons that whichever will get selected, the other one will get deselected. But in this choice button, I mean in this check boxes, we can, it is non-exclusive. It is not mutual exclusive. It is non-exclusive choices where more than one can be selected at a time. Where the adequate screen space is available, where the we are talking about the proper use. So if you have a adequate screen space, you can go for check boxes. Most useful for the data and choices that are discrete, which are distinct, different from each other, small and fixed in number, not easily remembered, in need of textual descriptions to describe meaningfully, and most easily understood when the alternatives can be seen together and compared to one another, and never change in content. So if it is, these are all useful when these things are there, because when you know, when it is all the alternatives are in front of us, it is very easy to understand and select from that, right? And then finally some more uses are cannot use to can be used to affect other controls, use only when both the states of the choices are clearly opposite and unambiguous. So mostly similar to radio buttons, but not in all the cases. So these are the diagrams. Everybody know how the check boxes, but still I have shown the diagrams because in exam also, in question paper, I mean while writing answer also, you need to have some of the diagrams. So keep it some of the diagrams. So you can see that we can show it in where the first figure, and we can show it this way also where the second figure, right? Now choice description is nothing but this is which is written next to the check boxes. This bold, italic, subscript, underline, or here we have given all this are nothing the choice description. So always provide meaningful, fully spell out choice description which clearly describes the value or effect set by the check boxes. Sorry, this is not a radio buttons. This is check boxes. Display choice description should display in a one line. So don't go for very multiple lines of choice description. Try to avoid that. In some cases it may go, but try to avoid that. Display using a mixed case letters, using a sentence styles, the way you can see in the second figure. Position the descriptions to the right side of the button, right side of the box actually, and separate them by at least one space from the box. When the choice is conditionally unavailable for the selection, display a choice description which is visually dimmed. Right? It is same, almost similar to the radio buttons choice description. That's why I have copied, and that's why that button and button is reflecting everywhere. That should be read out as, right now it should be read out at boxes. So similar, what I wanted to say, that similar description with respect to choice description, right? Whenever all these choices, what we need to understand, it should be in single line, not necessary, but try to be in single line. It should have a meaningful description. It should have a meaningful sentence which describes what that choice stands for. Then you can use mixed letters. You can see that here every letter of the in that sentence, every letter's first character is the capital. So you can make that kind of things. So, but even in, I wanted to tell you one more thing. Even when you people are creating the reports, or when you people are creating the PPTs for your presentation, many times I have observed that, see, this is all presentation part. This is all of which I am talking about, presentation, documentation kind of guidelines. So whenever you people will write Department of Computer Science and Engineering. So what you will do, you will make all or Department of CSE. What you will do, you will make D capital, O capital, CSE capital, like that. So generally only the not this normal words are not to be capital, like of, for, to, the, that should not be. For that the first letter should not be capital, it should be small letter only. When we are writing Department of CSE, you can make D capital, but in the of you should not make O capital. Okay, so in your documentation, even in your presentation also, I have observed many times, but I don't wanted to tell while presentation time, I don't wanted to tell out all those things. That generally guide will take care. Even when you will write a title, if your title, it will be big title, right? Generally it will be of 7 8 of words. And in title also, when you will give the mixed case characters where the first letter of every word is capital, you should not make the first letter capital if the word is of, for, to, which, like that. It should be small letters only. So here also you can see, in this example also you can see, for this prompt for, F is not capital, prompt to, T is not capital, right? Here also you can see that save data only for forms, F is not capital. So that's it. That is the general guidelines which is already there with respect to any documentation or presentation. So take care of this. So what is our third point in the choice description? Display using mixed case letters using the sentence style. And then it is saying always keep it into the right side of the boxes. The choice description should be always in the right side of the boxes. And if any choice is not available, right, if it is any choice is unavailable, which is not allowed to access it from the user, right, then in that case make that choice, show that choice, visually show that choice by dimming out to the user, right? So user can understand that yes, this is not available for me to select it. So this is with respect to the choice description. Then going to the next, with respect to checkboxes, size. Okay, so it's a maximum of 8 because as I said, you can have a choice of 1 where only one checkbox is there, but maximum it should be 8. See here again, it's not like it is, it's general guidelines, it's not mandatory guidelines. Understand the point between the general guidelines and the mandatory. Somewhere you can go for the 10 boxes, check boxes also, but then your screen space will be getting wasted because as more check boxes will be there, more screen space will be used, right? So you will be wasting your screen space in your check boxes for displaying the check boxes. So they are saying the general guidelines, you can go maximum of 8 check boxes. Then what is the default? Default, when the control possesses a state or affect that has been preset, designate it as the default and display its checkbox marks. So you can have a default checkboxes where it is predefined or something, it is already there. You can, whenever we are opening the screen or something, then you can, some of the checkboxes or one of the checkbox which is generally a default choice of the most of the users, you can make one of the checkboxes already marked, already selected, right? So that you can do it. When multiple selection includes choices whose states vary, display the boxes in another unique manner or in the mixed value state. So whenever there will be a multiple selection also, you can use that with, uh, I mean, in the mixed value state also, right? So just sorry about all these buttons, it's just as similar as that. So I have just kept it. Okay. Next is organization. Organizing is nothing but arranging, right? So how you can arrange it? You when the choice descriptions, how you can arrange it? Generally, if it is vertical orientation, always keep the choices which is more frequently getting selected at the top. If it is horizontal orientation, which is arranged from left to right, then always keep the choices which is frequently used in the left side of the orientation, right? So that is what the arrangement, right? So it's that's what it says before the selection array top to bottom, begin ordering at the top, right? The one which has a frequency of the occurrence more, the sequence of uses more, or those are the more important. So always, if more important choices are there, more frequently used choices are there, right? All such choices should be at the top of the ordering or left of the ordering, right? If under certain condition a choice is not available, display its subdue or less brightly than the available choices. So this is what with respect to organization. With respect to the structure, you can see the figures and we can make out the structure will be generally you can have a group of choices, right? So there will be a group of related choices. So you can see the figure where you can see this is in the column manner. I mean, this is in the columnar orientation or vertical orientation. So in vertical orientation, you have a choice description, bold, italic, underline, right? And by default, the bold is selected, right? Right. So it is, this is a one group. In this one group, there is a three choices, right? And for these three choices, right now we have not written any caption, right? So maybe we can give the captions saying that the something like that, uh, font color or font style or something like that, or only font, something related to font, right? You can make the font bold, you can make the font italic. I mean, what choice you have to give. So it is something related to font, so there is no caption for this checkbox, but there is, this is the checkbox, right? And all these choices belong to one group. So its structure is it provides grouping of related checkboxes, right? This is the generally preferred manner of the presentation. Vertical orientation, columnar orientation is preferred manner of the orientation than the horizontal one. That we also have seen in many application when we'll see many application. Most of the time when we get the uh, data or some form, most of the time it will be a vertical orientation of the checkboxes. Then left align the buttons and the choice description, it should be left aligned. This is also left aligned, where choice description is also left aligned. Choice description is not right aligned, right? So choice description is also left aligned. Left boxes is also left aligned. So if vertical space is uh, limited in the screen, I mean space is not available for the vertical orientation, go for the horizontal. You can see how the horizontal, and again you have to same thing as yesterday we have seen, you should have a enough distance between the choice of the previous one and the next check boxes. So it's nothing but the three spaces, right? So there should be a three spaces between this. So yesterday also we have seen this. And enclose the button in a border to visually straighten the relationship they possess. So you can see that there is no border for this group. There is no border for this group, but here we have a border for that group, right? So if you put into a border, what it will visually it will show that it belongs to one group, right? So if you give, it's just a guideline. If you put a border around your this choices group, it will show that it belongs to one choice, one group. Now this is some of the examples way to not to present check boxes in this way, right? I mean, this is poor, this is better, this is still better, and this is best. So poor means you can just, yesterday also we have seen, so I'll just go fast. It is check boxes on the top and choice description is below. So not allowed. Choice description in the top, checkbox is below, not allowed. Choice description is in the, I mean, checkbox is in the left, choice description is in the right of that. This is okay, but there is no space between this. And here the choice description is left of this, right? And checkbox is right side of the choice description. So totally not allowed. Even though there is a space between the choice description and checkbox, even though there is enough space, what we say, 3 spaces are available, but still it is not allowed because the choice description is left of the checkboxes. So not allowed. Then this is also, you can see it's still better because you have maintained everything. There is a border also, but it is a horizontal orientation. So uh, it is still little bit of, I mean, it's still better than the previous one. Now here you can see that here there is no caption for this, and here we have a caption. You can see that here is a, okay, caption is there, earning is there. Now it comes, when it comes to the caption, you can say that caption should be where, if it is columnar orientation, it should be on the upper left, justified with the border, right? Alternatively, if it is like this, you can put the caption over here also, which is upper left only, but just align with the first choice. Or you can go this way also. If it is horizontal, you can put the captions like this also, one which is within the border, it is inscribed. So it is also, again, when we say it should be fully spelled out, it should be mixed case characters. If the caption was font style, then font and style, F and style, S should have been capital. So it should be mixed case character. It should be a fully space out. So this is also with respect to the captions, right? And then after caption, what is left out? The keyboard orientation, I mean keyboard equivalents, and the activation. So what we'll say, we can make a keyboard equivalents in the choices also. For example, suppose we have this choice, right? So what keyboard stands for, you can make B and underline that B, which stands for, through keyboard also you can select this option, right? If you show I with underline, it stands for, through keyboard also you can select this, right? So that means if you press Control B, Control I, Control U, you can select these choices through keyboard instead of using the mouse, right? So that also keyboard equivalents you can give. And then finally the activation, selection, activation, right? You can, if your mouse is moving on that choices, you can show it is highlighted. When particular mouse is on the bold option, you can color out that particular option to say that your mouse is standing on that particular option. If it is moving to next, then that should be colored out, right? So you can make in that way activated, but when it will be selected, when you will click on that. So when you're clicking on anything, suppose I'm clicking on the italic, then it should be visually, it should be differentiate, right? When you will press it, it should be visually differentiate. When you will release it, it should be visually differentiate. So that is with respect to the activation and selection, right? So, okay. Okay, so now we'll just stop, and tomorrow we'll just go for the, I'll go for the list boxes, drop down and pop up list boxes, and if possibly palettes also, not